Well, hi YouTubers, I came back with another Physics by 100 books, and I read this many years ago, but it's nice to be reading it. The Ring by Koji Suzuki. Now, I love this book. I've read the sequel to it as well, Spiral, and obviously I've seen all the films. It's very interesting though. The protagonist of this book is male, however, the films, especially the USA one, are from female protagonists because they believe that when people will be emotionally invested in a woman's story trying to save her son than a male trying to save his family. I know, well, whatever. This book, turning it from though a male perspective is really, really good because it kind of wants to get to the nuances and core of the Japanese male as well. Now, in books about Japanese fiction, they have a tendency sometimes, even with Japanese authors, to turn themselves into some kind of like, I don't know, like super beings. They're better than their European counterparts. They're a little bit more. This is down and dirty and grounded and realistic, and it really kind of shows contemporary Japan in a way that little books don't. It's also based very, very much on Japanese mythology, especially the story of Sadako is actually based on the Japanese ghost story of Kiku, which I will put in the links here, okay? Story about a girl who ends her own life due to tragic circumstances and then gets out of the well which she throws herself in every single night to haunt the family from time ever onwards because, hey, good for her. So, let me just read the blurb on the back for those who never actually know anything about the Ring, okay, or Ringu, here you go. Okay, it's quite a long blurb, so I'll shorten it. Asakawa is a dedicated journalist who's worked his way up from local news beat reporter to writer for his newspaper's weekly magazine. A chronic workaholic, it doesn't take much notice when his 17-year-old niece dies suddenly. To a chance conversation reveals that another healthy teenager died at exactly the same time in chillingly similar circumstances. As Asakawa finds himself in a race against time, he only has 7 days to find the cause of the teenager's deaths before it finds him. The hunt puts him on the trail of an apocalyptic power that will force Akazawa to choose between saving his family and saving civilization. I love that idea. Just the idea, okay, of a man who do you choose? You can either stop this curse, okay, or let it continue and save your family. You are basically the harbinger of a curse against Japan, obviously the globe now. Okay, obviously this film was set at a time before the internet was vastly used, before, you know, the Sadako's curse. Let me explain the plot. These teenagers go to this cabin for just a weekend of partying and chilling, and they watch this haunted video. Then they receive a phone call and a voice says, "You will die in 7 days," and they do, to the minute. So, being related to one of the family members of the curse, Asagawa goes to the cabin and watches the video, and once again has 7 days. And then, whilst he's doing it, his wife and child watch the tape. And now he's got to save them too. I like the sense, okay, halfway through this book, the tone changes. Asagawa is desperate to save himself, but his motivations are to save his family. He really, really works a little bit harder. And the thing is though is there's so much ambiguity within the characters. Like there's a character he's joined on his journey, okay, by his friend Ryuji. Now this, okay, is once again with the ambiguity between the characters, okay? Ryu looked vaguely relieved. He put his arm around Akazawa's shoulders and pulled Akazawa's face close. He put his mouth to Akazawa's ear and said, "You seem like you could keep a secret, like I can trust you, so I tell you. As a matter of fact, at 5 o'clock this morning, I raped a woman." Asagawa was shocked speechless. The story was that at dawn that morning around 5, Ryu had sneaked into the apartment of a college girl living alone and attacked her. As he left, he threatened her that if she called the cops, he wouldn't take it lying down, and then he came straight to school. As a result, he was worried that the police might be at his house right now, so he'd asked Asagawa to call for him to check. After that, Asagawa and Ryuji began to talk fairly often. Naturally, Akazawa never told anyone about Ryuji's crime. The following year, Ryuji would come third in the shot put in the area high school track, and after that, he'd entered the medical program at Fukuoka University. Right. Once again, ambiguity. Yeah, and I'm not going to elaborate more on Ryuji's character, but that bit was shocking, obviously, okay? Never imagine reading something casual as rape in a book, it's never cool, but there's ambiguity, and that's a shock line, but it's not the correct line. It's not the correct thing. Okay. So, for those put off by that, don't believe it. Once again, people are not what they seem in this book, not even Akazawa's best friend Ryuji. That's once again the strength of Koji Suzuki's writing. It presents that fact as a shock, but also presents the ambiguity connected to that text. And further, one thing I also loved is this: it really does its research as well on Japan's history too, because there's a book I read years ago, again, called Japan Sinks. And Japan is a kind of like tsunami hotspot, if you will. Everyone knows what happened a few years ago. And the Japanese can rise above everything, like the phoenix rising from the ashes. That's Japan. Hey, land of the rising sun. Okay? So, in this video, there is a shot of a lady jumping into a volcano. That's actually Sadako's mother. Okay? Once again, research. Since the war, Mount Mahira has erupted 4 times. The first time was in 1950, 1951. The second was in 57, the third time was in 74, the fourth time I'm sure we both remember, well, the autumn of 1986. The 57 eruption produced a new crater, 1 person died, 53 were injured. I did my research, that's correct. That is correct. However, everyone knows the story of the ring, everyone knows the story of the woman crawling through the TV. Everyone knows that. That is Samara in the USA, it's Sadako in the Japanese. And no matter what text you're looking or in, that is absolutely chilling. The whole kind of you turn around and the visual medium of Sadako and who she actually is. She was a woman who was isolated and had no friends, and she hated her mother's psychic abilities, but she obviously never really used them. And then she had this ability after she joined this acting troupe she was observed mentally working with the TV, even though she was in the room, not even looking at it, and TV was unplugged. She has these psychic abilities, but obviously she's very, very trapped and confined. She's very much a victim too, but she's a victim who becomes the villain in quite tragic circumstances. And once again, there's lots of ambiguity in the text. Now, obviously, Sadako I felt sympathy for, but due to her actions and what she does post her death, I can't feel, she is the villain of this piece. Okay? So, anyway. Once again, this book is recommended. I don't want to spoil it, but what is there to spoil? Okay, the book came out in 2004. Okay, the book came out in 2004. Everyone knows the story, but I really, really do recommend this book just to kind of get a glimpse into Japanese society and the Japanese male mentality. And I actually really, really cared about Akazawa because obviously his wife and daughter are now at risk of being killed by Sadako unless he does something about it. And the bit at the end where he finds Sadako. Now, one thing I like about the Japanese authors in general, Japanese writers don't really waste words. They're not really held up a lot on emotion. They're very to the point. And this is to the point, but it's actually quite tragic too. Okay, it's a very beautiful book, and I really, really do recommend it. So, sign off here, YouTubers. Bye now.